I'm just waiting on the notification. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a special edition of Off the Record, the People's Podcast this Sunday evening. We have a great guest with us, Shada Arnette. I want to extend our love to you and just thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to have a conversation with us about a serious topic that has a great ending to a great story. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. My first question that we want to know is, when did you know that you had breast cancer?
I found out in October the 21st of
Mhm.
2018.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I
And
was scheduled for a mammogram later on, but when I discovered the lump, I called and made an appointment, and that's when I had to have a stat mammogram ultrasound, and that's when they discovered my lump in my breast.
yes, ma'am. Okay, and thank you, Brother Earl. Brother Earl sends his love, and Naima says peace, family. My next question is, um, okay, so you said how you got it. How did you explain to your family and your friends that you had it?
Well, once I got the diagnosis on November the 5th, and it was a tough pill to swallow, but I called my husband first, and I told my husband that I got my results back and that they just diagnosed me with triple negative breast cancer. So, we had to digest it. It's nothing easy to digest, but we had to. So I called my parents and I told them that I needed to come over and speak with them. And so once I got there, I told them what my results was, and immediately I had to think about how to sit my 4 children down and tell my 4 children that their mother has triple negative breast cancer.
Mm, mm.
So it wasn't easy, but with prayer, it made it okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Welcome salam to Teresa. Thank you very much for and everyone for continuing to watch. Okay, so Shadow, speaking of prayer, how important was your faith in your journey with cancer, in your battle with cancer?
Prayer is important to me. I've always had a prayer life. I was raised in a Christian home. My dad's a pastor.
Okay.
Um, So growing up, being a PK kid, we've always had a prayer life and we always learn how to pray. And my faith was never wavered. I trust God in the process with the diagnosis because I've always was taught to trust God in everything that He does. And I'm a firm believer God is never going to put you in a situation that He's never going to bring you out of.
Mm, mm, mm. That's beautiful. Okay, and thank you all, and thank you, Sister Jadea. And okay, my next question for you is, what when did you know that you had beat cancer?
I had surgery on November the 20th and I had a lumpectomy, which I was given a choice to have a double mastectomy or lumpectomy. So I chose the lumpectomy because of the level my tumor was. My tumor was a level 3, and it was also a stage 1. So stage 1 is the beginning. A level 3 with triple negative breast cancer, the higher the level, the better the prognosis of um, beating it. Triple negative is a type of tumor that's aggressive, more aggressive than any. Um, it's predominantly lives the tumor cells in Black women and minorities.
Mm.
Um, Once I had the surgery on November the 20th, I started chemo December the 13th, and I had 16 rounds of chemo, and I had 4 aggressive treatments. The first 4 aggressive treatments is what took my hair out. I lost all my hair.
Mm.
Um, and I had to have a chemo called Taxol once a week for 12 weeks. So I started Taxol in February, and I rung the bell May the 16th of 2019.
Hey, God is great. God is good. Okay, wonderful. Okay, wonderful. And can you please clear for us, like explain to us what ring the bell means?
Ringing the bell means that you have completed all your rounds of chemo and that your cancer has been maintained. I had to have, once I rung the bell in May, I had to have 35 rounds of radiation.
Mm.
So once I had the 35 rounds of radiation, once I was done, I had to have another mammogram. And when I had my mammogram in August, that was when they told me that I had no more cancer. My cancer was completely gone.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, beautiful. And I'm happy that God blessed you with that, Brother Victor. Yes, sir. My next question is, what advice would you give to people who don't know how to like check for breast cancer, or like what do you say to us?
My best advice to give anyone, if self check, meaning you can self check in the shower, you can lay back on your bed with your arm extended up backwards and just touch yourself. I know that sounds kind of funky, but just touch yourself because it's better to know than not to know.
Mm, mm.
And self checks can save lives.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Is there a way for us to do that, like online, like YouTube, how to self check? Like, how did you just knew? Like, how you just felt it and you knew?
Well, no, I didn't find it. My husband found it.
Okay. Okay.
And so once my husband found it, we jumped on it immediately. But you can YouTube videos to see how you can do self-check exams to check for breast cancer. Sometimes you can have breast cancer and not feel a lump.
Mm.
Sometimes it's overlooked. Women, in our case, and men, you will have discharge from the nipple, which I never did. Um, you will have redness from the nipples, which I never did.
Mm.
So that's why, it's always good as for us women to get a mammogram.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Now, and men.
Well, in men, I'm not so sure,
Okay.
and
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
just being honest. But
Yes,
as for
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
women,
Yes, ma'am.
please just check your breast and just pay attention to the signs. If you have discharge, if your nipples are turned in, those are signs of breast cancer. A lot of discharge, meaning like a milky substance or a bloody substance, is signs of breast cancer. So, just pay close attention to the signs.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Wonderful. Ayana, Sister Love It. Thank you, Sister Risa, Naima. God is the greatest. D. Akbar, thank you, bro, for watching. Victor, praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Thank you all. My next question is, uh, how do you feel now that it's all over?
I feel amazing. I feel amazing. I've come back to nursing now full time back again since October.
Okay. Okay.
Um so I feel good. I have neuropathy and I have neuropathy in my hands and my feet and my legs due to the chemo that I had to have.
Mm.
So other than that, I feel great. I still can't smell because the chemo took my smell away. I just got my taste buds back probably about 4 months ago.
Okay. Yes,
So
ma'am.
now I can taste now. I just can't smell. Smell comes and goes, but with prayer, God restore.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Beautiful.
So
Okay. Excellent. Well, for people who don't know you, we are family, and you
yeah,
watched us grow up, and me and my siblings and I.
I
Um,
did it.
how? Well, let's first start with your parents. Could you say them? Could you please say their names? Like, what's your mom's name?
Well, I have two moms. So
Okay.
my moms are Odessa Lott and Inez Davis.
Mm.
And my father name is Reverend Gerald Lott.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I enjoyed visiting Brunswick and playing basketball in front of his house, across the street from his house. Yes, ma'am. And how you spoke earlier about you being a preacher's kid, but how was it growing up being a preacher's kid?
It was challenging. The things that we wanted to do that we couldn't do. Um, but I come from a good home. I come from a good background. I have no regrets in my childhood. I have no regrets in my upbringing. From a spiritual background, going to church every Sunday. That's what you do when you're a PK kid.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So my household was a loving household. I have the world's greatest parents. I wouldn't change it for nothing. I thank God for them raising me right, raising me to have a connection and a relationship with God, and knowing how to pray for myself,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
know how to stand on my faith when I was wavered at sometimes. I knew how to trust God and have a relationship with God. That's the most important thing too, that you got to have a relationship with God. You
Yes,
got to.
ma'am. Beautiful. Okay. What do you do for fun?
Um, I cook
Okay.
and I see my grandbabies.
Hey, okay, yes, ma'am. And how many
I
grandchildren do you have? You said you have 4 children, but how many grandchildren do you have?
I have four beautiful grandchildren, two girls and two boys.
Okay, excellent. And what advice would you give to future mothers?
Just be the best mother you can be to your children. Love your children unconditionally. Just be the best support to them that you can be. Listen, never judge, always listen.
Yes, ma'am. Excellent. And what advice would you give to future wives?
Be the best wife you can be. Learn to listen, not always be so quick to speak.
Mm,
And
mm.
communication is key. You got to
Okay.
have communication.
Okay. Excellent. Well, before you go, Shad, I want to make sure that I ask about your interaction when you met the Most Honorable Minister Farrakhan. What was that like meeting Minister Farrakhan?
It was amazing.
Okay.
It was amazing. I heard a lot of talk about him, and I've used to see him on TV before I ever came to Chicago.
Hmm.
So for me to actually meet him, shake his hand, it was one of the best moments I can honestly say living in Chicago. That was one of the most memorable moments of me being there.
Okay.
And
Beautiful.
another thing too, coming from a Christian home and, being introduced to a lot of Muslim women and a lot of Muslim men,
Yes,
it was
ma'am.
a great experience because I never, knew the religion like that. So,
Yes, ma'am.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot. So the experience overall was great.
Beautiful. Okay. My next question is, how has being a grandmother impacted you?
Whew, a lot of patience. A lot of patience, but grandbabies are the best. The
Okay.
grandbabies are the best. I love being a Mimi. I'm not a grandma, I'm a Mimi. So I
Okay.
love being a Mimi. So, I have two little boys. Their names are Kazi Muhammad and
Mm.
Shair Muhammad.
Okay.
And my two granddaughters' name is Jordan Arrington and Jaden Arrington. So it's amazing.
It's amazing. Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I know that people are inspired, and everybody who's watching, thank you, Shada, for being so transparent. And myself and of course our family, we prayed for you through your your trial, and I'm happy that you beat it, and we hope that you continue to stay strong. We love you, Shada, very
Thank
much,
you.
and
I love y'all too.
you've always been nice, and you always be family. So please extend the greetings to your family and send them, our love. Of course, you saw Rashad earlier, so we ain't nothing but love over here. So thank
Of
you for coming
course.
on, and we hope that your testimony, we know that your testimony will inspire others not to give up, and that
That's right.
through
I
God,
will
all things are
continue.
possible.
I will continue to fight like a girl. That's my motto.
Yay! Okay.
And I will celebrate next month, May the 16th, 1 year of being triple negative breast cancer free.
Hey, wonderful. Well, thank you, Shada, for just being always being loving and being nice to us even when we was bad as children. So I appreciate that. I appreciate
Y'all were not bad.
that.
Y'all
Okay.
were not bad.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay, I'm just making sure. Well, thank you, and please give the greetings and love to your family, and thank you all for watching. And I'm inspired because you inspire me, Chad. You inspire me.
But thank you so much. And please continue to keep me in your prayers and give everyone my love and send the greetings to your family on my behalf.
I will.
And I enjoyed this. Thank you so much for inviting me
No
and
problem.
let me give a little bit of my testimony and my journey and my story of how I overcame breast cancer. So
Yeah.
I love you, Joshy, and thank you so much.
No problem. Love you more, Shada. All right, goodbye.
Goodbye.